or to be considerably harmed from a woman hitting you.
Sure,
but that
now
doesn't
you're
mean that
going
we
to
don't take it as
extremism.
seriously.
Now you're
We
going
don't
to
take it as
extremism. Now I'm going
No,
to
that
extremism.
literally
How many
means we
people
don't
have
take it as
fucking died?
seriously.
Go. Like, no, 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 no. You want to bring up extremism?
What about
So, like,
the
how many
only-
people have fucking died? You're going to an
Jesus.
extreme. You're going to an extreme. Yeah, like that's a problem. But also being honest about it is also a problem.
Wick,
Is that not
Wick,
true?
I'm gonna beat you unless you do something about
Please
this.
don't. I would rather you not.
No, don't beat Wick.
I would rather no one put their hands on me in anger or frustration.
Yeah, like honestly, like how? Why can't you just be honest?
I don't know who's lying. I'm
Live, laugh,
struggling
lie.
here. I'm really
I'm sorry.
struggling.
I'm so confused. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm also confused.
I want to.
I don't
I want to
even know
have
where
a
you're at.
productive
That's a
conversation.
problem because women can just sit there and be like, "I'm confused." Ooh woo.
Oh God, hey, she's not wrong about that.
Okay,
You
I'm
have
actually
confused me.
Pussy,
No,
like,
stop.
ooh, woo,
No, I'm gonna have to be
ooh,
a.
woo, I'm
Look,
confused. You
Seven,
wanna see my pussy?
Seven. Did not hate women before this channel. I did not hate women before this channel. But Seventh, you're doing your best. You're doing your best to change me, to radicalize me. Where's that red pill? I'm going to start listening to Andrew Tate now. I'm going to start listening to Andrew Tate. I'm going to change my whole channel.
You want to see my pussy?
What?
Did that happen?
Do you not
Wait,
want to?
I did it? I did
What's
it?
me?
She's just being
What do you
hyperbolic,
want to
but a little too much.
Me?
Wait, so it kind of did happen? So she's like not wrong?
That's actually, if this is true,
I don't
that's
know.
the funniest thing I've ever done.
I actually
If that's
don't.
true, that's
Oh,
the funniest thing
But
I've ever
I
done.
get it. I get it.
Her
If you're
boyfriend or
either
whatever.
promoting a Destiny point of view,
Damn,
or
did he say
you're
yes?
Oh no,
promoting
not
Stop.
listening.
What
Okay.
is
The
happening?
ghost of
Sitting
I
there
Dustin
said,
has
being
I
entered the
said
room.
happened,
Hey,
so
do you
follow
want to
me.
see
Why?
my pussy? It's so weird because women can just
That's
sit
what I
there
would
at the end of a
say. I don't know,
conversation and
maybe.
not have anything intelligent to say, but just be like, sorry, ooh woo, do you want to see my pussy? It's so
True.
stupid.
You know, a broken
Okay,
clock is
okay.
right twice a day.
Enough.
I
Enough. I didn't want to mute people.
Is that not true?
Dude, Ice.
No one has ever-
Ice,
That's not true.
Ice. I can't remember her name much. Ice
He's
Fox or
wrong.
something.
Guys, she's right. Guys,
I'm a
she's
woman,
right.
so I have to
Yep,
pee.
You don't
this
need
whole time. It's pretty
permission.
funny.
Guys,
I'm a
Okay,
woman. Ooh,
enough.
This is
woo.
right.
I'm a woman. Ooh woo. I'm a
There we go. Better. Okay. Now, with that done. Let's delete that. Let's take a minute. Take a beat. It sounds to me, and I'm convinced on this channel. I'm convinced on this channel that men's problems are you all of you, especially.
Base.
That I didn't believe this before. Couldn't have got me to. I'd be like, no, men have to take care of themselves. Moon, do you
I'm
still
also
believe
moving
that
towards that
men
position though.
are
Instagram live.
need to just help each other
Women
more?
are the
When we have
problem,
people
like
like this
you.
in the world? Moon, can you honestly say that?
I don't know. Like, I don't want to. I've never met this person before, so I don't know if there's like a history that's being brought up or something that I'm just not aware of. Okay, so then I'm just probably not aware of whatever is happening. Listen, this is my opinion, right? I was a big kind of supporter of Kevin Samuels, right? Because when Kevin Samuels spoke to men, he always kept it real. I don't care what anyone says.
Yep.
He always kept it real.
Shout out.
And I genuinely think they could learn
that's
some
okay.
important stuff from them about how to be a man.
Dude, he was raw as fuck.
My personal opinion, I don't know.
What?
I don't know where this
Kevin
conversation.
Samuels died alone fucking like his girlfriend who like he didn't like or love, who was too young for him.
But that doesn't have anything to do with what he was
Yeah, what
telling
the fuck
young
does that
men.
have to do with anything
Yes,
at
it
all?
does. First of all, you lead by example, number one, and two, he was giving awful advice to
I'm actually gonna piss. I don't know.
thousands of
I don't think it's completely true. Like I've
Thank
seen
you,
some
Kevin.
videos where he's telling men, go get a job, go shower, go back
This
to
is
school.
milk toast. This is milk toast. Yeah, obviously you tell men to get educated. This is like a
About, like,
bare fucking minimum.
But men would call in and he would explain to them how to level up. Like he always kept it real.
He would
It
also
may have
tell
been
black
harsh.
women that they were too dark, too fat, had too many kids. He's a loser. He's a
So he
loser.
told them
He
they
died unmarried
But
with
here's the
cocaine
thing.
in his system.
What Kevin Samuels
Well,
did,
we all take
and
into
it
account the
pertains to the
darkness
black
of the
community,
skin. Right.
Maybe sometimes he said things that
He's just
some
brave
might
enough to
consider
say
too
it out
harsh,
loud.
but explaining to people like, hey,
Harsh,
maybe
it's misogynistic. It's out of touch.
I
It's
don't
like
think
black
it's completely,
old Andrew
It's not
Tate.
out of touch.
I don't think it's completely out of touch. I saw a clip one time. She called in, had like 5 kids, a little over 200 and something pounds, right? Wasn't kind of keeping up to date, and she wanted someone, let's be honest,
Are you still
who
playing
was making
Daisy?
over $500,000 a
I
year.
think mine's on.
If we're
I don't
just
know
gonna
if
be
you wanna...
real on the panel,
Yeah, I'm still playing Daisy at the moment.
but we're
Good
not
for her.
being-
This is the problem. This is the problem, and this is why it is partially women's fault. I think why men are awful. It's because we are the sexual selectors in society, and we are enabling men, and then women are going to Kevin Samuels to get advice on how to be chosen by a man when you are supposed to choose. You are not supposed to settle for these stupid, dusty men. You're not supposed to, because
And
then
that's
you
what
breed with
Kevin
them, then you
Samuels
create
said
more.
too. He also said that too, but also you shouldn't be trying to get whatever this guy is when you're not also bringing that to the table. Like, I'm sorry, it's just the truth. Like, if we're gonna be
Oh,
real,
I
let's
forgot
just
she's
be real.
Canadian. Fuck, I don't like her anymore.
If you're not bringing certain aspects to the table, why should this person then pick you? Yeah, of course, don't pick
Why would
the worst
what
person
Kevin
out of the
Samuels
bunch.
should have said then is to be like, have the good group of friends. You don't need a man. You already have 5 kids. Try to either reconcile with the father of your kids, or
He did
It's
that as
like
well,
a
but Kevin
resume.
Samuels talked
It's
to
like
people.
a resume at that
People
point.
asked him for actual advice. They asked him what they should do in their personal life, and he kept it real. It may have been mean, but he was being honest.
yeah. And I mean, I don't even think the list honesty.
We're all lying on our resume.
Oh my God! Can you kick 7 for the love of God? For the love of God! It's just gonna. Do you see this going anywhere with 7 here?
Yeah, they need to kick her. I mean, she's funny, but it's
Why?
not
What's the
productive.
problem, Lab? You're not lying on your resume.
Yeah, but neither is the rest of the
Lab, I actually have a
conversation.
question for you.
Yeah.
I like Moon.
Okay, so go back to the domestic.
Moon's
violence.
spitting.
Um, you think that it, like, to go back to what the super chat from earlier? Do you think it's fine for women to even the playing field with like weapons? And,
What?
you know what? Like, would that make it on the same like level for you if there were to
With
be an
domestic
evening
violence?
Yeah, because it seems
Well, no.
like you don't.
I mean,
think
studies
that
show that
there's-
when a woman carries, it is most likely going to be used against her. So unless we make women cyborgs with guns
Okay,
in
that's
their
not funny.
arms, I don't think so. I think that women should show restraint as well. I think that they should be having sex less with men who don't care about them. I think that we should live in a
True.
culture that values something like celibacy
Yes.
or safety, women's safety,
No,
more so
hot girl
than
summer. How about hot girl summer?
promoting this like sexual revolution idea to have sex with
How
men
are
who
you
don't
saying
care about
that?
you.
How are you saying that when you were a former Destiny Sin? How are you saying
Please,
that?
not
Okay.
Dustin.
For real, on
Seven.
God. On
Seven.
God!
Stop,
Wait a
stop,
minute.
stop.
I'm pausing. Sorry. I won't. I try not to pause. Dude, but wasn't Lab saying a second ago, like Kevin Samuels is like incredible because he wasn't leading by example because he was having sex with whores and doing drugs, and now she's over here. Wasn't she fucking people while she's married? And she's saying no, we should value celibacy and don't fuck guys who don't care about you. Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. Isn't that crazy?
I don't get it because I wasn't following the whole thing.
You weren't keyed in.
Well, no, I listened to it, but I don't understand the contradiction you're pointing out at this
She
time.
was fucking having a hot girl summer when she was fucking Destiny. And she was married. They weren't fucking, but you know, they did stuff, sexual things together. And he obviously didn't give a fuck about her, like, beyond fucking. You know? And she's over here doing the thing. Damn. Wow. Crazy.
Seven.
Hard
If
truth
you
to
have,
say I don't understand.
You know what? Have a hot girl summer.
if you have beef,
You definitely won't
right,
fucking
with
hate
one of the
yourself
panelists,
afterwards.
that's fine. We can air that out at another occasion. I would love to have that happen. But for now, today, right now, in this discussion, what we're doing is we're talking.
Stupid. No fucking way.
And I'm very curious as to what the answer and discussion is. But we can't have that discussion if every single time you try to call out Lab. Like, we just cannot have that discussion. So,
That's
you
the
have a
question.
choice. You have just real quick. You have a choice, Seven, right? You can stay, play nice.
Ooh, that's condescension
go
coming
ahead.
from a man. Infantilization.
So, ask your question again.
Sorry,
Oh no, Moon, go ahead.
Moon?
no, I was gonna say that maybe we could address
Wait,
this like
didn't we
later
just have
on,
a talk
like that
about
way
that
she can get it
yesterday?
out. Like if there's something she wants to get out.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't know.
forgot exactly the
That's all that
context.
I'm saying.
That's what I was just. But sorry, Ice Beast, go ahead.
That's fine.
He
We
told
can
he
talk
told her
about
to
it
play
later.
nice
We can
like
talk
she's
about
a
it off
child.
stream. It's totally fine, but it's a hypocritical
Crazy.
statement.
What's
I-
hypocritical, Seventh? What's hypocritical?
Dude,
Let's
don't
get into
engage
it.
with it or I can't
No,
stop
do
it,
it.
Lav. Don't engage with it or I can't
Nah,
stop it.
she's
I'll
no
start,
engaged.
just say
She's right.
Don't.
I don't. I'm flip flopping. Sorry.
Okay.
Typical Lav.
okay.
Lav moment.
I think re-ask the
Lav.
question because it was a pertinent
Yeah.
question.
Okay, so like the feeling I'm getting from you is that you don't actually like. I mean, you more or less said like, "Oh, can a man take a punch?" Right? But the thing is that it's not just about whether the man dies as the result of a domestic violence thing, right? Like, the fact that it's happening at all,
That's
and
true.
the fact
What
that
she's
and
saying is true.
the fact that
It's
it's
like
happening at
death
all,
or
and
nothing.
well, it can still have negative repercussions, right? Why wouldn't we address it just like we would a domestic violence against women?
The negative repercussions towards men from female offenders is rarely that deep. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit of anxiety.
Okay,
Sometimes
can we
Okay,
use?
so if I took a
Let's
so
use
if I
a different example.
No,
Let's talk about
yeah.
Steven
no,
Crowder.
let her
Steven
answer the
Crowder.
question.
Steven
Oh my
Crowder.
god.
Steven Crowder.
Wow,
Oh,
his mic is
so if I
failing
took-
right
You have
now.
one more chance.
Oh my god.
Watch it.
One more chance.
Watch
Yeah, you
it.
gotta let her
We
stay
won't
for
go
the
on our date.
content,
You
Lotus.
don't say.
I'm sorry. Watch it.
Okay, listen.
Lav.
If I took
Go ahead.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
go ahead.
no, okay. Look, if I took a box cutter to my husband, it's the same fucking
Wait,
negative
why box
Wait,
cutter?
that's
Right.
Why box cutter?
threat? Wait, a threat?
Let's
Like,
talk about the
Yeah,
box
true.
cutter.
Why box
Why
cutter?
box
than
cutter?
just normal
box
Why
cutter-
box
the
It's
box-
the same thing.
Seven.
Problem.
Okay,
Women
so the box
very
cutter came up
rarely
in a super chat
threaten
right
to
before
kill their
this
partners in
conversation,
that
like
way.
right before this part.
But
It doesn't-
why
I'm
box
not talking about
cutter?
killing. I'm talking about hurting.
Wait,
I'm talking about
what's-
domestic
Because
violence.
she would have
That's
read the
a
super
threat,
chat
that's a
and
threat
then
of
said
death.
that right after.
Ice beam. Ice
I'm
beam.
not-
If
she
we're-
didn't
if
come
we're
up
talking
with
about
that.
something like a
Someone
hit,
said it in the
lied
chat
about
first.
me
Okay,
attacking
Seven.
somebody with a
Paid
box
$5
cutter.
to
Sorry.
say
What if I
that.
close that?
No, but I think the implication is that
Oh my
women can't
God.
harm men without weapons.
I think I'm an anti-feminist
Physically.
now.
I
think I hate women.
have been
Wait.
I just
But she has
I
to
don't
go
know what
to a
do.
weapon because
It's.
there's no other way for a woman to
I
harm a
was
man.
curious what she was. I actually wanted to break down what was going on. I'm sorry, I might be the only one, but I actually wanted to break down.
I think
What was
she is.
happening
I
there?
think she is severely inebriated,
I
and that you
gotta
did the right
research
thing
it.
way. That was not good.
I
And I don't
tried
think
my best, but I want to keep people on as much as possible. But there comes a point where it was fun for no one. Okay. That said, we can bring her back when she calms down. Calms down.
No.
But for now, that is a good question that I think asked, right? Like, it doesn't have to lead to the most severe consequences. I think the consequences about when it comes to domestic abuse towards men, it manifests differently. It doesn't manifest usually in a black eye. What it manifests is, and I will be clear, is this emasculation, right? I think that a lot of them, they don't abuse the spouses or significant others in a physical way, but by gaslighting them, by emotional abuse, all these things, and I am reticent to dismiss that as nothing, right? I'm reticent to dismiss that as just, oh, men should just get over it. I think that's largely, if I had to have my opinion here, that's a part of a problem,
This is what you can do as a man to avoid disaster. You can go to the gym. You can higher your testosterone levels. You can build up your body so that you are strong enough to protect yourself from other men, from women, right? Or to restrain women if they potentially harm you. These are ways that you can help yourself.
Okay, but I think the problem is that you like just like with everything else, there are variations, right? Like you have women who are physically bigger than their male partner.
Of course, and that would
Like,
be different, but
so-
that is generally what's not going to happen. If you want to sit here and talk about a fringe case or individual cases of men or women, why are we having a debate?
No, I'm not saying that we shouldn't like. No, I'm not saying let's only focus on the fringe things. I just don't
That is
understand
fringe.
why. I don't understand why we're even like why even bother diminishing the importance of one thing and like only holding up like the other.
What do you mean?
Why wouldn't we
different. It's different.
Okay. Yes, it's different in how and why.
I know that
And
there's
the
this new
outcomes,
leftist
okay?
push to blur
Oh,
the edges between
no.
male and female and to say everything is the same and
not
how we treat
talking
each
She's
other
right,
should be the
but
exact same.
she's
I mean,
derailing.
that's
I'm
what this
not
stems
talking
from.
about
That's what this stems
I'm
from.
not-
It's ridiculous.
not
Obviously,
talking
when
Yeah,
there
she's
is
right, but
violence
she's
against
fucking
women, it is
justifiable.
different than violence against men propagated by women. It's obvious.
It may be different in how it happens and why it happens. That doesn't mean that we have to treat it differently. Why
What
would
do you
we treat
mean?
it different?
Also-
Okay, you're literally saying your literal approach was essentially diminishing it. Like, oh, you should be able to take a punch from your.
Yeah,
Why
Yep.
is that okay?
because you're a man.
Does that make him more masculine?
Do you
Does a
mean
man
No.
taking a punch make him more masculine towards you?
No, maybe bitching about it afterwards and being like, "I'm traumatized by my tiny wife hitting me." Yeah, that makes you less that makes you less
Okay,
masculine.
so then basically by that logic, any weaker person in the relationship, that should be the person who gets like the benefit of the doubt.
If you are the
Yeah.
stronger, bigger person in the relationship, you should use that power for good. You should restrain the partner or leave the
about-
room.
What about gay
Or-
men then?
What do you mean? What
So
about
if-
gay men?
If you're in like a gay relationship, and your partner hits you, right?
Mhm.
Should the smaller gay man just like take it, or are they supposed to still be masculine? I'm just curious.
I'm not saying
sure.
be masculine or else like you're like
No,
a
that's
sissy.
not. She
I'm
didn't
saying
do that.
like
She thought
I'm
she
sorry.
ate, but she
have
left crumbs.
either of you even
Shut up.
even met a man that is traumatized because their wife beat them?
Like, on God, why are we pretending like this exists?
Okay, well then
At all.
It comes out in a lot of
What the
fucking
fuck?
ways.
I don't get the physicality thing at all.
With relationships in the future.
Well, what do you
Yep.
mean?
Emotion.
I don't understand the physicality thing at all. I don't get how being able to physically beat the shit out of my partner makes me more of a man.
Oh, I don't think she's saying that.
He's saying your ability to like take that from your partner does.
It makes me a man if I can physically take a beating from my partner.
No, you can take a beating from your partner because you're a man, not the other way around.
I don't know, man. My partner could fuck up most dudes.
Emotional issues, attaching to other people.
Like, I just don't get why we would treat assault like any
Yeah,
differently.
differently. I don't understand it either, honestly, because
I mean,
when we worry about PTSD,
I mean,
for men
in
as well, like,
law,
they
we
can
should probably treat
experience
it all the
that.
same,
Men
right? Through the
men
legal
have gone
system.
to war for fucking centuries. You're worried about your tiny wife hitting you? Come the fuck on. I like am not even
Bro.
gonna do this.
Yeah, like, this is so not serious.
It's
So, like,
ridiculous.
Have you
Well, what if my wife is,
like,
250
I don't know, like,
pounds?
have you not seen any
whoa.
documentaries?
Are
of
we
what
worried?
they're
Are we
actually
worried
going
about PTSD from the time that your wife hit you? Like, come on.
Yes, fucking yes, because
This is so no. This
Why
is
do you
why.
think- okay,
This
I'm
is
sorry,
the problem.
You
This
know
is the
any
problem
men
with like
PTSD?
liberal
Do you know-
over
I'm
education.
sorry. Do you know any women with any
Yeah,
men with
she's
PTSD?
right. Well, that was so based.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I know men who went to war.
Okay,
I
and what do you
figured- I
think
thought
how do
you
you
would
think
like
that comes out in their lives? I just want to
Like,
know.
here she's based.
They drink mostly.
She just
Okay,
she
and
kind of
what
reminds
else?
me of you.
They drink.
Oh, just drink. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And
Very cool.
also,
Just drink.
they
just-
don't
Yeah.
need
I
healthy
don't think,
relationships.
like-
Men are also less likely to get, I think it's like cancer diagnosis, right? They're less likely to go to the doctor because they worry about problems like this. They're less likely to talk about their mental health. And then when you just dumb it down as, well, they should be a man.
You are okay. This is the problem. You are prescribing a feminine prescription to men. They don't think.
is
They
not
don't. I'm
This-
telling
this
you.
isn't
Let
feminine.
Lab finish. Let Lab finish.
They
Lab,
do
go.
not think in mental illnesses and psychosis and neuroses like women do. That is our beauty. That is our strength. That is why
Yeah.
we're a different sex. We think differently, right? A good prescription. Less men should go to therapy. More men should work out. Should find challenging jobs. Should do all these things.
Is this real?
I'm
Sorry, I don't know
trying to
everything.
Yes,
do
this
that.
is
So
fucking
random.
real.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't know.
This was a troll debate for a
This
while.
it's so like fucked up to debate people who like haven't read the same Evo Psych as you. Like I don't even know what to fucking say.
Okay, that's
I
okay,
don't-
I'm sorry.
sorry,
Why are we relying on Evo Psych?
Yeah,
Isn't this
can
a
we-
thing? Isn't this something that's been fucking debunked?
No.
Hello?
Can we step away from the evil?
Evolutionary
I hate when this
psychology
comes
has
up.
been debunked.
I don't want to dive into the whole evil psych. I literally think it's just common sense,
What is,
and it's
what
not
are they
feminine or
talking
masculine
about?
to say, hey,
I
this
don't
could
even
affect
know.
somebody.
It's not
It
even-
doesn't
it
have to
seems
be a
like they're
woman or a
saying
man.
all of evil
We should
psych
take
is
steps
debunked.
that if this does affect
What
them,
is that?
to help them. Mental health isn't inherently feminine. This
Evolutionary
is why men
psychology.
do struggle with
No,
depression.
Vicky, you did. You said less men should go to
Yeah.
therapy. Why?
No,
because it makes
because
them less
men-
masculine.
Because for certain people, just sitting and talking about your problems and ruminating on your problems and explicating your problems and thinking about them constantly isn't good for you. That's not good for
Being
you.
smarter than people is evolutionary psychology though.
To a
This
professional.
is an
It's not
Being what?
anti-therapy arc. I think this
Being
really
smart is an
more
evolutionary
neurotic people, I think,
trait
is
that
very good for women.
makes you more powerful though.
Who
That's why politicians are able to get young men to die for them at war. Like what?
Or are you equivocating being smart with, like,
Being powerful.
concern about-
The ultimate flex is being having authority. The ultimate flex is being being the one that everyone looks to for leadership.
Hey, can you pull Ryan in?
Yeah, what I'm saying is being smart is masculine. Being someone that look to for leadership because they're too dumb to be able to do it. Because like, you might be able to physically overpower me, but if I influence everybody around us against you, then your physical prowess is meaningless. If you walk into a bar and you're the toughest guy in the bar, but I've created a community of people inside of that bar, and you start shit with me, you're starting shit with everybody in the bar, right? To make it to put a down home representation of it. So she thinks, and I equate emotional intelligence with being smart because being able to
Yeah,
be.
that's what I was.
Sorry, are we agreeing or disagreeing again?
Well, I don't know because that's what I thought you were saying at first. At first, I thought you were saying being smart was emotional intelligence, but then you said it had to do with power and influence. Or I guess maybe you're conflating all of these into one.
Yeah, I mean, because emotional intelligence, being smart is being emotionally intelligent. They could, they're. I think I would gather to say that it's even more powerful.
And so you're saying that a man who says I need to seek counseling for my mental health is someone who's doing a smart thing, which is therefore a masculine thing, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So let's use an example. I mean, I guess I can't really use an example, but it's a very well known story of Tony Soprano, right?
Okay.
Mob boss, killer, sociopath, but mob boss regardless. Lots of power, lots of physical power. Started having panic attacks, right? And it was a manifestation of his feelings with his mother. That's what the story explores in the first season or two, right? Mm-hmm. And because he's able to manage the feelings with his mother, there's a parallel between that, and he loses his a lot of his anxiety and alleviates a lot of it after seeking that help, and then is able to become a more assertive, powerful leader, and eventually becomes, he grows in power throughout the seasons and authority with his people, and continues to be undermined, right? But it's funny because, interesting enough, later on, he starts feeling that his physical prowess, right, is questioned, or his leadership is questioned because of his him getting into an accident and having open heart surgery. I think is when he gets shot, and he feels the need to have to beat up this big old buff guy and his crew to prove the point that I'm still the man, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's interesting the kind of how it kind of switches, but that's more his thing. Then he goes back to his therapist and talks to him about that, and she kind of goes into details about it. Oh, well, maybe you felt like you needed to do this and do that, even though it was just kind of all in your head. So I guess what I'm getting at is I can only use that as an example because it's a pretty well known story that seeking that guidance from somebody, and like I said, therapy could mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. Some people use it for personal growth. Some people use it for dealing with trauma. But there's lots of powerful men who go to therapy so they can keep their emotional selves in check because, there's the rational mind, right? And there's the emotional mind. And being able to master your emotional mind, because when push comes to shove, the emotional part of your brain is what came first, not the rational part. So that's always going to trump your rational part of your brain. If you can master your emotional brain, you can master your rational brain. And I think that's what is a more valuable trait when it comes to being authoritative and being masculine, in my opinion.
I think the point that Lab was making was that if men were just more like she's literally saying if they were more physically active, but also if they were just more busy, if they were just more like active participants in their own life and their own growth, they wouldn't dwell on these feelings that may exist, that may truly exist, that would then cause them to be depressed. She's like, if you go to the gym, if you like really hardcore pursue your career, if you have all these essentially distractions in your life that are gonna be better, they're gonna make you a better man, you won't be depressed essentially. Which is like like obviously that's a crazy oversimplification, but I think like she's onto something. with,
Well,
like
what
if
she's
people were more
describing.
active in their life and more physically active,
Yeah.
especially men, I think they would probably have less negative emotions.
Well, it's displacement, and there's research to support that people who have issues, a lot of body issues, tend to be people who feel like they have very little control over their lives tend to go to the gym because that's something that they can control. They can control what goes inside their body. They can control how much weight that they put on the bench. They can control how many miles they run every time they go to the gym. It's something that they can control in their lives when there's so much chaos surrounding it, where if they took a little bit more time to think intrinsically about their behavior and their emotions and the way that they treat the people around them, I think they would find that it's like, it's burying yourself in your work isn't a prescription for getting out of your depression. It's displacement. Those feelings and emotions are going to manifest themselves in another way at some point. And like I said, that's why I just don't agree with that. That yes, short term, if I'm having a bad month, if I go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week and I'm doing stuff around the house and I'm engaging in a lot of busy things, being around my friends, when I come home and I'm alone in my thoughts and all that noise is gone, what's the state of my mind at that point? What's the state of my emotional mind at that point? And a perfect example, during COVID, suicide rates increased across the board, right? To give an anecdotal example, there was a guy who went to a bar that I know was a regular there and was funny and was a big dude and everyone had a lot of laughs and used to drink a lot, and he would go there all the time. And my buddy would tell me, like, this guy's here all the fucking time, dude. This guy's always here. He's always here till closing, and he's not necessarily there to party. He's just there to not go home because he doesn't want to deal with his life, the fact that he's a fucking loser, and the fact that he's this and the fact that he's that. And sure enough, a couple of weeks later, the Instagram stories came out. I'm gonna miss you, brother. I can't believe you're away, brother. And I didn't talk to. I talked to people close to him, and the thing was, he no longer had noise. He no longer had his social engagements to keep his mind occupied on what was troubling him the most. And because he never sought help outside of a bottle and outside of social interactions or being busy, keeping himself busy, that when he was in an instance of being alone and being isolated, which is what the pandemic did to a lot of people, the consensus is that the guy offed himself.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wait, y'all don't know?
The family didn't reveal the reasons, but I mean, you've been around enough to be like, oh, gone too young, gone this, that, and no one ever was like, okay, well, what? No one ever says what, because when people get cancer when they die, people say, oh, fuck cancer, right?
Yeah.
But when they don't, and they don't reveal the illness, or they don't reveal this or reveal that, I've seen it enough to know when that what fucking happened,
Well, I mean, the one thing that is guaranteed to travel with you everywhere you go is your mind. So it makes sense that would be the thing you want the strongest, because everything else can be taken away, just like you're saying with COVID. If you have a strong mindset, that stays with you. COVID doesn't take that away.
I think another element of therapy that kind of like gets stonewalled by men is they focus too much on like the aesthetic and like considerations of other people and what they would think if they knew. And in all reality, it's like we know guys aren't gonna start crying in front of their friends and talking about their emotions. Like, it's not about dealing with the shit you can see, it's about dealing with the shit that you can't see when no one else is fucking there. Like, that's the most important thing. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. Because it's like, everyone, I mean, a lot of guys have that stoic thing going on, but I know y'all sad.
Yeah, well,
So-
I'm like a huge MMA fan. It's literally like the only sport I follow at all. And it is so much more common now for them to seek out sports psychologists. When it's like,
Sure.
of all the sports, like, that is the fucking manliest sport there is. I don't think you could argue otherwise, because it is the, like, rawest form of sport. And
I don't know,
for those
it
guys
feels
to
like
finally be getting to the point where they need to seek it out, they're obviously active and healthy, because they're fighters, but still, it was stigmatized for a long time. You didn't hear people talk about it, but now it's really common for them to have sports psychologists.
I'm playing it.
Like, you're laughing like I'm not saying something that's like completely normal.
Let me ask.
I'm
No,
going to have
hold
you
on.
say
Stop.
you have
Stop.
a-
I do have a real quick question because we're talking about that. Have you ever hit your partner?
What are you, a fed?
No. I'm just asking.
Yeah, wouldn't you like to know?
Oh jeez. Oh
But
man.
I'm wondering if we know, and the reason I asked is, do we have
How else do you get them to listen?
personal experience with the results of this, or are we going off of just
Oh my God.
right?
You know, you
My
kind of
parents
remind me
used
of
to
right
beat the
now,
shit out of each
Detox.
other.
What's
How did
up?
it work out?
Have you ever seen that
They're
Hyphonics
divorced, but my
guy?
dad's fucking.
Yes.
You just remind me a tiny bit of him.
It's the mustache.
Yeah, that's
He's
exactly.
fine.
Although I have a lot of hair.
Wonderful woman, and my mom is
Yeah,
a
he
fucking psychopath.
definitely does not have a lot of hair.
Fair enough.
The effects of my dad
I don't know if that's a
beating my
good
mother were
thing.
way worse on her than the effects of her beating my dad. Immeasurably.
Okay,
And
my
you're
dad
gonna
was
sit
beat-
here
my-
and
my
you're
dad
gonna
was
sit here
beat
with
by his
common
dad.
sense and say that domestic violence affects men the same way it does a women. You are fucking lying for some liberal agenda.
Oh my god.
It's not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, sorry. I Speeds. I don't
Yeah,
mean
go
to
ahead.
cut you
Go
off.
ahead.
This idea of like a liberal agenda. I genuinely don't understand this like how we arrive there. I'm not saying that the implications of domestic violence is going to be the same across the board, but just to deny that a man that does get beat up by his wife or a partner or whoever, that this won't impact him mentally and emotionally and can lead down to, as you said, drinking. What happens if you drink too much? You get cirrhosis of the liver, right? They may die quicker. These are things we should consider about
Life
men and
happens,
help them
death
through.
happens. And you weren't strong enough to kick it. Gene pull out.
No, it's not just.
Okay, can I ask, just to kind of
Survival of
redirect
the
this a
fittest,
little bit,
baby.
just to
Uh-huh.
redirect this a little bit, right?
She's like the most
Because
Giga
there is a
Chad
big difference
female
between
out
the
there.
two these things, right?
Yeah, I love her.
So Lavi mentioned that we give too many
fucking hate
feminine
her.
solutions, as you're asserting therapy, etc. So what is the solution for men then? If not therapy, how do
I think therapy can be a great tool, but therapy looks different for men than it does for women. We are culturally different. We are psychologically different. I think for men, a lot of men see a lot more progress in something like eating better and having a healthy gym regimen.
Okay,
Having
yeah, I
a
think
lot
she's
of
out of
male
her depth
friends,
there.
doing activities like running or hunting
Okay,
or
let me be more
fishing,
clear.
something more meditative.
Sure. Let me be more clear. After this
Uh-huh.
panel, I'm going to seek out therapy. I need a therapist. You guys have
Yeah,
helped
good
me
idea.
in a very, very real
Very
way.
good idea.
When I go to that therapist, right, and I sit down to talk to them, what should that therapist, in your mind, be telling me to fix what you all have broken within me?
Well, here's the thing. I think if you ask any therapist, just to bring it back a little bit, if you ask any therapist if there's a difference between how they talk to and help their male clients and their female clients, they're going to tell you absolutely yes, there is. Any good therapist will tell you this. Most therapists will tell you this in general.
What do you think,
What
Detox?
a man, what a therapist should tell a man is to get your life in order, is to get your life together, right? Maybe obviously, if anyone's hitting you,
Therapists don't tell you what to do.
also, if anyone's hitting you, you're
They make you aware of things that you need to know yourself.
Also true.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, like I'm not. Let me say that I'm not like a
To help you
proponent
step
of
outside of your own
abusing your
toxic
partner. I don't think
narrative.
anyone should hit their fucking partners. I already said that. Obviously, that's true. I'm just saying because I was on that
So far,
one
her
point,
prescription is
that one
extremely
question that was
milquetoast.
asked.
A good therapist, I should say, because it sounds like they've had bad
Doesn't affect
therapists,
them in the same way.
which
Obviously
affects
not.
people's opinions and
Obviously, no, it doesn't.
perspectives on it.
This way then.
Yeah,
Because,
true.
again, as you assert, men are more inured. They're less susceptible to that kind of attack. Fair enough. But then, what are men particularly weak to that you find that women are stronger at? And this is a question to all of you. What do you think women have a easier time getting over or dealing with that men,
Restraint.
for whatever reason, just can't handle?
Restraint. Obviously, men are become very obsessive. I think that men don't know when to stop drinking. They don't know when to stop gambling. Know when to stop fighting. Know when to